Okay, let's unpack this. We all know that feeling, don't we?
Yeah.
The first start feeling New Year, maybe just a Monday morning, and you get this real drive to build a new habit. You picture it, right? Exercising every day, finally getting that writing done, maybe learning something new or, consistently saving money. You're totally fired up.
Yeah, the motivation is sky high at that point.
And then,
Yeah.
well, reality kicks in.
Yeah.
The motivation starts to fade, you miss a day, then another, and suddenly that great new habit is just gone. You're back to the old routine.
It's so common. And the numbers are pretty sobering when you look them up. Depending on who you ask, something like 80, even over 90% of New Year's resolutions, which are basically just habits we decide on, they fail. They just don't stick.
Wow, 80 to 90%. That's huge. So why? Why does this happen so often? We have good intentions, but we fall back.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's this gap between what we intend to do and what we actually do. Scientists actually call it the intention-action gap.
Intention-action gap.
Okay. And it's really easy when you're in that moment of, frustration to just blame yourself. Oh, I don't have enough willpower, or I'm just not disciplined enough.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Absolutely. But what's really interesting is that the research from behavioral science, psychology, neuroscience, it points to something different. It suggests the problem might not be some fundamental flaw in you.
Okay.
It's more likely a lack of understanding about how habits actually physically form in our brains. And crucially, it's often about having a poor system for building them. We try to muscle through with motivation alone, when what we really need is a smart system that makes the habit almost easy, almost automatic.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It takes the blame off, sort of, and makes it a problem we can actually solve by understanding the mechanics.
Exactly. It's about working with our psychology, not against it.
So this deep dive, then, it's not going to be about quick fixes or just motivational hype that wears off by next Tuesday.
Right. No magic bullets here.
It's about getting practical. We want to ground ourselves in the actual science and look at strategies that are proven to help make these desired behaviors stick around for the long haul. We've gone through a whole stack of material insights from the real experts in habit formation, psychological research, practical guides.
And our mission today really is to equip you, the listener, with the knowledge and the tools to stop trying to build habits the hard way, constantly fighting yourself, and start building them the smart way, leveraging the science.
Okay.
And a big part of that, which we'll get into, is how something like habit tracking, which might seem like just a simple checklist, can actually be a really powerful ally, helping you build self-awareness and keep that momentum going.
All right. So if you're tired of that cycle, starting strong, fizzling out, and you're ready to understand the nuts and bolts of lasting change, stick with us. Let's start by looking at why those new habits fail so often in the first place. What are the big pitfalls?
Yeah, let's shine a light on those common traps, because knowing what not to do is half the battle, right? The sources we looked at point to several recurring mistakes that just sabotage people right out of the gate.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first one. It actually comes from a good place, usually high motivation, but it's trying to change everything at once.
The total life makeover starting tomorrow.
Exactly. That burst of enthusiasm hits, and suddenly you've got this huge list. Wake up at 5 a.m., run 5 miles, meditate for 30 minutes, journal, eat perfectly, start that online course, all happening simultaneously.
Sounds exhausting just listing it.
It is exhausting for your brain. The consensus among researchers is really clear on this. That approach just overwhelms your capacity for conscious effort. You spread your focus and willpower way too thin.
So less is more.
Definitely. You need to focus on a very, very small number of habits at the same time. Honestly, for most people, the ideal is mastering just one new habit. Really get it locked in, make it feel routine before you even think about adding another.
Just one. Wow. I remember reading about tiny habits, where the advice was, even if the habits are incredibly small, like flossing one tooth or doing one push-up, you still shouldn't add more than maybe 3 of those tiny things at once.
That's right. And that really highlights how much focus even tiny changes need. We tend to think one habit means like a big category like exercise, but even the micro steps require dedicated mental energy.
Okay.
Your brain just has limited bandwidth for this kind of conscious change. Trying to juggle too many new things just taxes that system way too heavily. My own experience and what I consistently see working for others is focusing intensely on one thing. Build it until it's solid, automatic, second nature, then layer on the next one. It's like building a wall, right? Brick by brick. You don't try to throw the whole wall up at once.
Sequentially. Got it. Okay, so mistake number 1. Trying to do too much. What's number 2?
Number 2 is very related, but it's distinct. It's starting with a habit that is just too big or too difficult right at the beginning.
Like aiming for the marathon before you can comfortably run a mile.
Exactly. We set these huge, inspiring goals. I'm going to hit the gym for 90 minutes, 5 days a week, or I'll write 1,000 words every single day. They look great on paper, but the sheer initial effort required to just start that big behavior, especially when you're new to it and have zero momentum,
Yeah.
it's massive.
Because just getting started is often the hardest part. Is that the idea?
That's precisely it. Think about it. You get home, long day, you're tired. The mental barrier to starting a 90-minute workout feels like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
But what if the goal was just to put on your workout shoes or do 1 push-up? The motivation needed to then maybe continue, do 5 push-ups, maybe a quick 5-minute routine, it's suddenly much, much lower. Research backs this up. Starting takes a lot of willpower, finishing takes less once you're moving.
So the trick is to make that starting point ridiculously easy.
Make it so easy you can't say no. That's a great way to put it, borrowing from one of the experts. The initial goal isn't about getting amazing results from that first workout or writing session. The initial goal is just building the ritual of showing up.
Focus on the behavior first.
Yes. If your ultimate goal is 50 push-ups, start with 5, or even 2. Want to read an hour a day? Start with 2 pages. Want to meditate for 20 minutes? Start with 1 minute. Start tiny. Build the consistency, nail the behavior itself, then worry about increasing the intensity or duration later. Consistency beats intensity, especially early on.
That feels like a really powerful shift.
Right.
Focus on the minimum viable action. You show up for that. Okay, this flows nicely into mistake number 3. Seeking a result, not a ritual.
Right. We are naturally drawn to outcomes, aren't we? We want the
But-
result, lose the weight, save the money, finish the book, speak the language. That's what motivates us initially.
Sure, that's the why.
But here's the catch the sources point out. New goals don't automatically create new results. What actually creates new results is a new lifestyle. And a lifestyle isn't an outcome, it's a process.
And that process is built on rituals. Is that where they come in?
Yeah, exactly. Rituals are the repeatable, consistent actions that gradually turn those desired behaviors into automatic habits. One expert defines a ritual as a highly precise behavior you do at a specific time so that it becomes automatic and no longer requires much conscious intention or energy.
Precise and time specific.
Yes. If you want a habit to stick, you have to, in a sense, fall in love with the process, the ritual of doing the thing every day. Not just be obsessed with the distant goal. The goal is why you start, but the ritual is how you get there. You need to focus your energy on building and refining the how.
That's a crucial distinction. Commit to the practice itself. Okay, mistake number 4 feels like a really big one. Looking outwards, not changing your environment.
Oh, this is foundational and probably the most underestimated factor in habit change. The sources are pretty blunt here. Trying to maintain positive habits in an environment that's actively working against you is incredibly difficult, almost impossible sometimes.
How so? How does the environment have that much pull?
Your surroundings, your physical space, your digital space, even the people you're around, they are powerful, powerful drivers of your current behavior. Think about it. Your existing habits, the good and the bad, are largely a product of the environment you live in, day out.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you want to eat healthier. If your kitchen counter is always loaded with cookies and chips and the fruit is hidden away in the bottom drawer of the fridge, well, your environment is constantly cueing you towards the unhealthy choice and making the healthy choice harder, requiring more effort.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind, or easy to grab.
Exactly. Or wanting to cut down on phone use before bed. If your phone is right there on the nightstand, buzzing or lighting up, that's an environment designed for distraction the moment you wake up or try to wind down.
So the answer isn't just more willpower to resist the cookies or the phone.
Willpower is finite. The more effective approach is to redesign the environment. The single biggest lever you can pull to make a new habit easier is to perform it in an environment specifically designed for its success.
So make the cues for the good habit obvious.
Make them obvious, make the habit easy. Want to read more? Leave the book open on your pillow or coffee table. Want to practice guitar? Keep it on a stand, visible, ready to go. For the phone. The environmental fix isn't resisting the urge, it's putting the phone in another room overnight. Use an old-school alarm clock.
Simple, but probably very effective.
And it applies to your digital world, too. Turn off notifications, hide distracting apps off your home screen. The takeaway is stark, maybe a bit uncomfortable. If your environment doesn't change, you probably won't either. Not significantly, anyway.
That actually feels empowering, though. We can control our environment much more easily than we can suddenly conjure more willpower. Okay, the final common pitfall, number 5.
The fifth mistake is assuming that small changes don't add up. We tend to think that for a change to matter, it has to be big and dramatic. We focus on hitting these major milestones, quickly lose 20 pounds this month, save $10,000 this year, read 30 books by summer.
Right. We want big results, so we think we need big, heroic actions.
Right. Precisely. And that leads us to try and adopt these huge, often unsustainable habits, like that 90-minute daily workout or writing for hours every day.
But reality works differently.
Yeah, the reality is nearly every significant outcome in your life, good or bad, is the result of many small choices made consistently over time. Your fitness level, your financial health, your knowledge, none of it happened overnight. It's the compound effect of small, daily, weekly actions. It's the pattern of these tiny behaviors that leads to significant results down the line.
This sounds like the 1% better idea.
Exactly that. It's such a powerful concept because it feels achievable and it highlights how consistency compounds. Getting just 1% better each day means you're, 37 times better after a year? Those tiny improvements seem almost meaningless in the moment, day to day.
Yeah, you don't feel 37 times better tomorrow.
Right, and that's the mistake, dismissing the power of that small, consistent action because it doesn't give you immediate dramatic feedback. So the advice is clear. If you're serious about building a habit that lasts, start with something small, something you can realistically stick with for good. Build the behavior, focus on that consistency first, and then you can gradually scale it up.
Okay, so let's recap the pitfalls. 1, trying to change too much at once. 2, starting too big. 3, chasing the result instead of building the ritual. 4, not changing your environment. And 5, underestimating the power of small, consistent wins. Just knowing these helps us avoid common traps.
It gives you a map of what not to do, yeah.
So now let's flip it. Let's get into the science. How do we actually make habits automatic? What's going on in our brains?
Right, let's peek under the hood. Psychologically, neurologically, habits are essentially learned behaviors that become automatic responses to specific triggers or cues. They develop through repetition.
So they're like shortcuts the brain creates.
Exactly. They simplify our actions, make things less mentally tiring. William James, the famous psychologist, called us bundles of habits. It's a great description. Our brains are designed to automate routine tasks to free up mental energy for new challenges.
Bundles of habits.
Yeah.
I like that. So what's actually changing in the brain to make something go from effortful to automatic?
Well, it involves processes like synaptic pruning and strengthening neural pathways. Think of your brain like a dense garden. When you repeatedly perform a behavior, it's like tending to a specific path. You clear it, reinforce it. The connections between the neurons involved in that behavior get stronger, faster, more efficient.
Okay.
At the same time, the paths you don't use, they get overgrown, pruned back. The brain literally rewires itself based on what you consistently do.
So practice physically changes the brain's structure to support the habit.
That's exactly right. When you first try something new, like learning an instrument or starting a new workout, it requires a lot of conscious effort. It mainly uses your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, decision-making, impulse control, often called System 2 thinking. It feels slow, deliberate, tiring.
Yeah, it definitely feels like work.
But as you repeat that behavior day after day, control gradually shifts. It moves to a deeper, more primitive part of the brain called the basal ganglia. This is like the brain's habit center.
Okay.
And once the basal ganglia takes over, the performance becomes much quicker, smoother. It requires far less conscious thought, less willpower. It frees up your prefrontal cortex to focus on other things.
Which is why we can do things like drive a familiar route or brush our teeth almost on autopilot.
Precisely. Those actions have been delegated to the automatic system. They've become ingrained habits. And this whole process, this shift to automaticity, is often explained using the habit loop.
The habit loop. Right, cue, craving, response, reward. That breaks down the whole sequence, doesn't it?
It does. It's seen as the fundamental neurological feedback loop that governs pretty much all habits, good or bad. There are 4 steps that feed into each other.
Okay, walk us through them.
First, the cue. This is the trigger. It tells your brain which habit to initiate. It could be external, seeing something, hearing a sound, a specific time, location, other people, or it could be internal, a feeling, an emotion, a thought.
Like seeing the coffee machine cues you to make coffee.
Exactly. Second, the craving. This is the motivation behind the habit. Importantly, you don't usually crave the habit itself. You crave the state or the feeling you anticipate getting from it.
Ah, okay. So not craving the cigarette, but the feeling of relief.
Precisely. Or the feeling of boredom relief from checking your phone, or the feeling of accomplishment from ticking a box, or the feeling of calm from meditating. Without a craving, there's no reason to act.
Got it. Cue craving then.
Third, the response. This is the actual habit you perform the action or thought. Lighting the cigarette, opening the app, doing the push-ups, taking a deep breath.
The doing part.
The doing part. And fourth, the reward. This is the payoff. It satisfies the craving you had. It tells your brain, hey, this loop worked. Remember this for next time. It closes the loop and reinforces the connection between the cue and the response. The reward could be pleasure, relief, satisfaction, solving a problem.
So cue triggers craving, craving drives response, response leads to reward, which reinforces the whole thing for next time.
That's the cycle in a nutshell. And understanding this loop is incredibly powerful because it gives us a framework for intentionally designing habits. This leads directly to what are often called the 4 laws of behavior change.
Okay, the 4 laws.
Yeah.
How do we use these based on the habit loop? Let's start with building a good habit.
Right. To create a good habit, you want to make each stage of the loop work for you. So the 4 laws are, the first law, focusing on the cue. Make it obvious. Make the trigger for your habit unmissable. Design your environment, set clear reminders.
Okay, make the cue stand out.
Second law, for the craving. Make it attractive. You need to want to do it. Link it to pleasure, focus on the benefits, make the idea appealing.
Make it sound good, feel good.
The third law, for the response. Make it easy. This is crucial. Reduce friction. Simplify the steps. Make it effortless, especially at the start.
Lower the barrier to entry.
And the fourth law, for the reward. Make it satisfying. Ensure there's an immediate positive consequence. Your brain needs that reinforcement to learn the habit is worthwhile.
Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. Got it. And for breaking a bad habit, you just flip these?
Exactly. You invert the laws. Make the cue invisible. Get rid of the triggers. Make the craving unattractive. Focus on the downsides. Reframe it negatively. Make the response difficult. Add friction. Make it harder to do. And make the reward unsatisfying. Remove the payoff or add a negative consequence.
That provides such a clear, practical roadmap. It's not just about trying harder. It's about strategically tweaking each part of the loop.
It really is. It's like behavioral engineering. You're identifying the levers you can pull. So now let's translate this into even more concrete strategies. We found 6 evidence-based approaches that really show how to put these laws into practice.
Okay, 6 practical strategies grounded in the science. Where do we start?
We start with the one that's considered essential. Strategy 1, ensure a stable, supportive environment. We keep coming back to this, don't we?
Because it's that important.
It really is.
Yeah.
A stable context provides those consistent cues we just talked about, the start of the loop. If your environment is messy, unpredictable, or actively works against the habit, it's just so much harder to get it automated.
So again, it's about designing your space and routine.
Absolutely. Being intentional, want to meditate, have the cushion ready in the same spot every morning, want to pack a healthy lunch, prep the ingredients the night before so they're easy to grab. There was a case study mentioned about the daily mile. In schools, kids running a mile each day. A big part of its success wasn't just the idea, but the stable environment. A clearly marked track on school grounds. The cue, location, and context were consistent every day.
Having that dedicated space makes the expectation clear. Okay, what's strategy 2?
Strategy 2 is to leverage the context. This is rated as good to leverage. It means using existing situations or routines to your advantage. 2 main ways to do this.
Okay, what are they?
First, you can leverage a disruption. Big life changes moving, new job, relationship changes, becoming a parent, they disrupt your old patterns. This creates a window where you're more open to forming new habits.
Interesting. So chaos can be an opportunity.
It can be. Studies show people are more likely to change commuting habits, for example, right after they move. The old cues are gone or weakened. So if you're going through a transition, recognize it as a potential time to consciously install new, better habits.
Use the reset button nature give you. Okay, and the second way to leverage context.
This one is probably even more useful day to day. Piggybacking onto an existing habit. This is famously known as habit stacking.
Ah, right. This is a big one. Attaching a new habit to one you already do.
Exactly. It's maybe the most powerful technique for integrating new behaviors. Instead of trying to remember a new habit out of the blue, you link it directly to something you already do automatically every single day.
The formula is something like, after I current habit, I will new habit.
That's the template. Your current automatic habit becomes the perfect, reliable cue for the new one you want to build. You're essentially hijacking an existing neural pathway and adding a step.
Can you give a few examples of how that might look?
Sure. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Or after I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. Or after I finish dinner, I will put my plate directly into the dishwasher.
Simple connections?
Simple, but effective. You can even chain them together into routines, like after I brush my teeth Q1, I will floss one tooth habit 1. After I floss one tooth Q2, I will use mouthwash habit 2.
So you use the completion of one as the trigger for the next.
Yes. You leverage the momentum. The key is choosing a current habit that's really specific, happens reliably at the frequency you want the new habit, daily, weekly, etc., and serves as a clear trigger. Brainstorm your non-negotiables, waking up, meals, brushing teeth, going to bed. Find those anchor points in your day and be specific about the cue, not just during my lunch break, but when I close my laptop for lunch. That precision helps.
Habit stacking feels like a cheat code because it uses what's already there.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, strategy 3.
Strategy 3 is critical, especially when starting out. Make it easy. Also rated as important. Experts stress this constantly. If a behavior feels hard, requires a lot of effort or willpower, you're just not going to do it consistently, especially when motivation dips, which it inevitably will.
So how do we make something feel easy, even if the ultimate goal is challenging?
You deliberately reduce friction, remove obstacles, simplify the process. Think about Amazon's one-click ordering, pure genius in reducing friction.
Right, makes buying dangerously easy.
Exactly. Apply that thinking to your habits. How can you reduce the number of steps it takes to start? Can you simplify the routine itself? Can you get rid of any barriers, perceived or real?
Like laying out workout clothes the night before.
That's a classic example. Reduces the morning decision-making and effort. Want to eat more fruit? Keep a fruit bowl on the counter, not hidden in the fridge. Want to paint? Leave the easel set up. One source mentioned a study about making water purification easier in developing countries. Instead of asking people to measure chlorine, they provided a dispenser right at the water source that gave the exact right amount. Easy. Removes the friction, removes the guesswork.
Make the desired path the path of least resistance.
That's the goal. Reduce friction, simplify steps, remove barriers. Strategy 3.
Yeah. Strategy 4.
Strategy 4 is develop cues and rewards, also marked important. We've talked about cues with environment and stacking, but this focuses on consciously creating effective triggers and really leveraging rewards strategically.
How do we consciously create cues beyond just setting up the environment?
A really powerful technique here is using implementation intentions. These are specific if-then plans. You state clearly, if situation X happens, then I will do behavior Y.
So pre-deciding your action for a specific trigger.
Exactly. It takes the decision-making out of the moment. Studies show this works incredibly well. One famous study found people who made a specific plan for when and where they'd floss. If it's after breakfast, then I will floss. Were way more consistent than those who just intended to floss more generally. It links the cue and response very consciously.
Okay, that makes sense. And the reward part, how do we use those effectively?
Rewards are absolutely vital at the start. They provide that immediate positive feedback that tells your brain, yes, this was good, do it again. You need a mix. Immediate short-term rewards the satisfaction of checking a box, a pleasant feeling, a moment of relaxation, and connect it to the long-term reward, the health benefits, the savings, the skill.
Intrinsic and extrinsic rewards.
Both can work. Intrinsic, like the feeling of pride or the runner's high. Extrinsic, like treating yourself to something small or getting praise. Social rewards matter too, a partner appreciating a clean kitchen. The reward satisfies the craving from the habit loop. Interestingly, once the habit is really strong, the need for that external reward often fades. The behavior itself can become rewarding or just feel automatic.
So rewards are like training wheels for the habit.
Good analogy. They help you get going until you can ride on your own. Okay, strategy 5.
Strategy 5.
Simple but non-negotiable. Practice and repeat. Also rated important, habits form through frequency. Repetition, repetition, repetition. You just have to do the behavior over and over to carve those neural pathways.
Sounds obvious, but it means prioritizing the actual doing.
Yes, and recognizing that the habit system learns best through action, trial and error. physically performing the behavior. You can't just read about swimming or watch videos to build the habit of swimming. You have to get in the water.
Makes sense.
This is why things like free samples, test drives, interactive displays work for businesses. They let you practice using the product, making the behavior feel familiar and easier. You need to create opportunities to practice your desired habit.
Got it. Practice makes permanent. And the final one, strategy 6.
Strategy 6 is build meaning and motivation. This is ranked good to have. It's not always essential for tiny habits, but it's really powerful for bigger changes or for pushing through tough times. It's about connecting the habit to your identity or a deeper purpose.
How does linking it to identity help?
We like to feel consistent. We want our actions to align with who we believe we are or who we aspire to be. So if you start exercising just to lose weight, what happens when you hit the goal or plateau? Motivation might vanish. But if you also link exercise to your identity, I am a healthy person. I am someone who takes care of my body. I'm a runner. Or to deeper meanings like stress relief, mental clarity, being a role model, the habit becomes more resilient. It's anchored to something bigger than just one outcome. It helps sustain you when motivation naturally flags before the habit is fully automatic. This connects to the idea of identity-based habits focusing on becoming the type of person who does that thing.
That adds a whole other layer of why. Okay, so we have the pitfalls, the science, habit loop, 4 laws, and these 6 strategies. Stable environment, leveraging context habit stacking, making it easy, cues rewards, practice, and building meaning. That's a really solid toolkit.
It provides a great foundation for understanding how to build habits effectively.
Now let's zoom in on one specific tool that seems to weave through many of these strategies. Habit tracking.
Yes, habit tracking. It sounds simple, maybe even a bit boring to some people, but the evidence suggests it's actually a surprisingly powerful tool when you use it right.
So it actually works. It helps habits stick.
Yeah, studies indicate that the simple act of tracking a behavior significantly increases the odds that you'll establish it as a habit. It's not just passive recording. It actively shapes your behavior. It makes your actions more intentional, and it gives you crucial feedback.
Okay, so it's more than just ticking a box on a chart. How does it actually help us build and keep habits?
It offers several key benefits, and they tie back nicely to the principles we've been discussing. First, self-awareness. A tracker acts like a mirror for your behavior. You get an objective look at your consistency, but beyond just, did I do it or not? You start seeing patterns. I always skip my workout on Fridays. Or my energy levels are way better on days I stick to my morning routine. Tracking connects the dots between your actions, your environment, your energy, your mood. You see things you'd otherwise completely miss.
It makes the invisible visible, like finding the hidden patterns.
Exactly. Second, it provides structure and accountability. Your tracker is like this reliable, non-judgmental friend. It's always there. It remembers perfectly whether you did the thing or not. It quietly celebrates the wins with that check mark. And it keeps you honest by showing you clearly when you're falling off. It reduces the need to rely only on external accountability, like checking in with someone else.
And seeing that visual progress, the chain of checks building up, that must be motivating in itself.
Hugely motivating. That's the third benefit. Motivation. Tracking turns abstract goals like get healthier into visible, tangible progress. Seeing that streak grow or the percentage complete climb, it's inherently rewarding. It taps into our brain's desire for completion and progress like gamification for your life. Each checkmark is a little dopamine hit, a small win that builds momentum.
It makes those small daily actions feel like they're actually adding up to something.
Precisely. Fourth, clarity. Tracking forces you to define your habits clearly. You can't track, be more productive. You have to define it. Work on my main project for 45 minutes without interruption. Or plan my top 3 tasks for tomorrow. This specificity helps you set realistic, measurable daily actions, linking back to making it easy and starting small.
Right, you have to know exactly what done looks like. And the 5th benefit, how does it help long-term?
5th is sustainability. Tracking helps shift the focus from perfection to consistency. You see the data over time. You learn that missing one day isn't the end of the world. What matters is the overall pattern, getting back on track quickly. It helps you internalize that never miss twice idea. It reinforces the power of those small, compounded actions over aiming for an impossible perfect streak.
Okay, so self-awareness, accountability, motivation, clarity, and sustainability. Those are pretty compelling reasons to track, but you mentioned earlier people often stop tracking the tracker itself. What are the downsides or common challenges?
Yeah, that's the reality for many. Some potential pitfalls include becoming too dependent on the specific app or tool. What happens if you lose your phone or the app shuts down? Some digital trackers can feel overly complex or rigid, not fitting your life. And yes, the abandonment rate is high. People just stop filling it in.
So the key isn't the tool itself, but the system around it.
Exactly. The goal isn't perfect, flawless tracking forever. It's finding a simple, flexible system that genuinely supports your habit formation and self-control, rather than becoming just another chore you feel guilty about not doing.
Okay, so how do we make tracking work for us and avoid those pitfalls? How do we implement it effectively?
All right, let's get practical. Step 1 is pretty straightforward. Choose your tracker. The options are vast, right? From a simple notebook like Benjamin Franklin used to printable templates, bullet journals, or countless digital apps.
What's the best choice?
Yes, honestly. The best tracker is the one you will actually use consistently. Don't get bogged down by finding the absolute perfect app with a million features. Is it easy for you? Does it fit your workflow? Will you open it every day? That's what matters most. Simple and usable beats complex and abandoned every time.
Prioritize consistency of use over features. Got it. Step 2.
Step 2 is organize and simplify using categories. Don't just throw every possible habit you can think of onto your tracker. That leads to overwhelm fast. Focus on habits that will give you the biggest positive impact. One really helpful approach suggested is to group habits into key life areas. This helps ensure balanced growth, not just focusing all your energy on, say, fitness.
What kind of areas?
A common framework uses 5 core areas of life. 1, mindset, like meditation, gratitude, learning. 2, physical health, exercise, nutrition, sleep, hydration. 3, productivity, focused work, planning, organizing. 4, financial health, budgeting, saving, tracking expenses. 5, mental and emotional health, journaling, connection, hobbies, managing stress.
That provides a nice balanced view. How many habits should you track in each area when starting?
Again, start small. The recommendation is just 1 or 2 key habits per area maximum when you begin. Remember, the first habit you're building is the habit of tracking itself. Get that down first. You can always add more later.
Build the tracking habit first.
Yeah.
Okay. Step 3 is about the actual tracking routine.
Yes. Step 3 is implement best practices for the daily process. 3 key things here. First, start small. We said it a lot, but it applies to tracking too. Minimal habits, minimal complexity initially. Second, create clear success criteria. Define exactly what counts as completing the habit for that day. Read 1 chapter or read for 15 minutes, go for a walk or walk 5,000 steps. Be specific so you know unambiguously if you did it or not. You might also consider personalized rewards for hitting streaks or milestones.
Makes the win clear.
Third, establish consistent check-in routines. Decide when you will update your tracker each day. End of the morning, lunch break, before bed. Make it a specific time. Set reminders, or better yet, use habit stacking. After I brush my teeth at night, I will open my habit tracker. Consistency in checking in is vital.
And personalization seems like a running theme here too.
Absolutely critical. The tracker, the habits, the timing, it all has to fit your life, your energy, your personality. Don't try to force yourself into someone else's perfect system. Align habits with your values. Maybe track morning habits if you're a morning person. Find those golden habits, things you naturally lean towards or enjoy, leverage those for easy wins early on. Tailor it to you.
What about reviewing the tracking data? Is there value beyond just the daily check mark?
Huge value. That's where the power of monthly reviews comes in. Don't just track and forget. At the end of each month, schedule time to actually look back at the data.
What should you look for?
Celebrate your wins first. Acknowledge the progress, the consistency. Then look for patterns. When were you most successful? When did you fall off? What was going on those days? Were there specific triggers, environments, feelings involved? Use these insights to adjust for the next month. Maybe a habit needs to be smaller. Maybe you need to change the cue. Maybe you need more environmental support. It's a continuous feedback loop for improvement.
Turning the data into actionable insights for next month. Smart. Okay, let's quickly revisit how to overcome those common tracking problems people face.
Right, quick fixes. Forgetting to track. Habit. Stack it onto something solid, like meals or brushing teeth, or set strategic phone reminders. Tracking too many habits. Be ruthless. Cut back to the absolute essentials, maybe just 1 per core area. Master those first. Losing motivation. Remember the never miss twice rule. 1 missed day is okay, just get back immediately. Celebrate every small win. Find an accountability buddy or join a community if that helps.
So tracking isn't magic, but used smartly, starting small, organizing, being clear, reviewing it really becomes a powerful tool for awareness, accountability, and keeping that momentum going.
Exactly. It's your personal feedback system. It keeps you honest, shows you the reality of your actions, and helps you make smart adjustments instead of just vaguely hoping for change.
Wow, we've covered a lot today, from why habits fail to the brain science, the practical strategies like stacking and environment design, and now how tracking fits into that whole system. It really feels like the takeaway isn't about needing superhuman willpower.
Not at all. It's about understanding the science of how we work and then building smart systems, designing your environment, your routines, your tracking to support the changes you want to make. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
Shifting focus from relying on fleeting motivation to building reliable systems and focusing on the daily process, that ritual, rather than just the distant outcome.
Mm-hmm. Starting small, making it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, leveraging habit stacking, practicing consistently, finding meaning, it all adds up to sustainable change.
And using tracking as that ally for awareness, accountability, seeing progress, staying motivated, helps you navigate the journey.
It gives you the data to learn and adapt as you go.
And maybe the most powerful idea, this is the one that really reframes everything, is that concept you mentioned, our habits as votes.
Yeah, that perspective, often attributed to James Clear, is really profound. The idea that your habits aren't just isolated actions. Every time you perform a desired behavior, no matter how small,
The one push-up, those 2 pages.
that glass of water, checking that box, you're essentially casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. A vote for being a healthy person, a reader, a focused person, whatever it is. It's not one big dramatic transformation. It's the accumulation of these tiny daily votes.
So the final question for everyone listening is, what kind of person are your daily habits voting for you to be? That's a powerful thought to sit with. The journey starts with a single step, and maybe understanding and tracking your habits is the best map you can have